Okay, in today's video, I put together the cheapest recording studio setup that'll give you the best bang for your buck. Meaning, it's going to be cheap, but it'll give you professional studio quality results. So let's start with what you're going to need. The first thing you're going to need is basically a laptop or desktop computer that is powerful enough to run software and a lot of virtual instruments. So if you don't have anything, my first choice that'll give you the best performance price ratio, I would recommend something like this, the Dell Inspiron 15-inch with 16 gigs of RAM. Now, I have links below in the video so you can actually check out each product, links where you can easily buy it from Amazon. This laptop comes with 500 gig SSD drive, which is super fast, and 16 gigs of RAM. Now, I highly recommend you get at least 16 gigs of RAM because that is going to make a big difference in the amount of virtual instruments and the performance of your computer. So for about $800, I think this is a really, really good price. Personally, I'm a Mac guy. I prefer the MacBook Pro, but as you know, you're going to be paying double for similar specs. So as far as price, I would recommend that. The next thing you're going to need is a sound interface of some kind. You're not going to want to use whatever's built into your computer because that would be a mistake. Now, I have personally used this interface. This is the Behringer Euphoria UM2. I actually use the UM4, but it's the exact same converter and preamp. You can purchase this one for about $48, and it is absolutely incredible sounding for what you're getting. In my opinion, it sounds better than PreSonus and Focusrite interfaces that are, $200 and up. It's got great digital to analog to digital conversion, great preamp, and surprisingly, this is something that you don't get in something so cheap. It has a very powerful headphone out. Now, I am able to power these headphones, which are 600 ohm professional headphones, off this interface. I haven't really found many interfaces under $500 that can actually provide a powerful headphone amp like that. So, if you're in the market for an interface, this is something to look into. Don't be discouraged, with the price because it's so cheap, thinking that it's a cheap interface. No, it's actually a really good audio interface that'll give you fantastic results. So once you have that, you're going to need some kind of microphone, especially if you're going to be doing voice work. I highly recommend the Audio-Technica 2020. It's under $100. You can probably get it for about $80 used. But the main thing I like about this microphone is that it's a very full sound, and it's got a nice high end. There's some kind of harmonic distortion that it makes things sound pretty and nice. There's a lot of Chinese knockoff microphones that are even cheaper than this one, but I find with those, the sound is very tinny and thin sounding, but this microphone sounds really nice. And if you check my early videos on my channel, I was actually recording all the vocals through this microphone. The only downfall with a microphone like this is, it's a large diaphragm condenser. If you get a little too close to that particular mic, you might get a little bit of sibilance. So, keep your distance about from here, and you should be good using that microphone. Now, if you have a little bit more of a budget, I would recommend what I'm using right now, and this is the MXL CR89. There's another video that I talk about it. And this is about $250, so it's more than double of that one. If you can afford it, I highly recommend this one because it's a tube mic and it's a lot smoother and more upfront, and it's great. But like I said, if you're on a budget and that's the most you can afford, the Audio-Technica is a phenomenal microphone. So next, you're going to need a microphone stand. Get anything. Anything that's going to hold up your mic. That one there is $20. There's a link in the description. That'll do you just fine. You're also going to need a pop filter. One of the cheapest ones I found is only $6.99, and you're going to ask yourself, what do you need a pop filter for? Well, if you don't use it, anything with a pronounced P sound, it's going to pop and it's going to ruin your recordings, as I could show you right now. Popcorn. Popcorn. So you see that difference? That's what a pop filter does. You're going to need one. The next thing you're going to need is studio monitors. Now, there are many cheap studio monitors out there. This is the one area that you can't really skimp. I wouldn't suggest getting a pair for $75 or $100 because you want something that is fairly accurate and that will translate into the real world. So for that purpose, not skimping on price too much, I am suggesting the Yamaha HS5. You can get a pair for about $400 or less. I've personally used those monitors for many years, and they have a sound to them. They're very mid-rangey and mid-forward sounding, but I think they're actually fantastic, especially if you don't have a very treated room. If you monitor at low levels with those monitors, and you learn them, you have to really learn them, you have to listen to a lot of reference mixes. Once you're used to that, I find that anything that sounds good on those monitors is generally going to sound good on other stereo systems, home speakers, like anything else. But that's the thing, this really brings out anything that's ugly in your mix. Any harshness, you're going to really hear it on those, and that's what you want from a good studio monitor. Like I said, there are cheaper options, but I wouldn't recommend it. I would really recommend something like that or better. If you have obviously a bigger budget, there's a lot more in the $1,000, $1,500 range. But as far as the lowest end, I would recommend these ones. They're fantastic. So the next thing you're going to need is some kind of keyboard controller. So there's a lot of options. For portability and just convenience, I chose the M-Audio KeyStation Mini 32. You can put it in a backpack. It's only about $59 or less, so that'll do the job. But this is, it's up to the individual. If you want like a piano feel, there's a lot more options. Even at probably $100, $150, you can get like full size keys. But like I said, if you're on a budget, that is more than adequate. The next thing you're going to need is headphones. Now I'm going to recommend the AKG 240. They're semi-open, so a bit of music will leak out, but because they're semi-open, they're very good to check your mixes, and that's what you need. So for $59, I think that is bargain because they sound great. Now you have all your gear, but you're going to need some recording software, a DAW. Everybody has their preference. If you don't have one and you're strapped for cash, I would suggest go with Reaper. Now you can get Reaper for about $60, and it just comes with everything that you need to start recording and producing right away. There's no track limitations, because that's the thing. You can get like a light version of Cubase or Studio One, but they're going to limit you with MIDI tracks and track counts. Reaper, there's no limitations. For $60, you can actually try it out for free, and like I said, it comes with pretty much everything that you need to start recording and mixing and producing. So the next thing that you're going to need, once you got your DAW, like I said, I suggested Reaper. You're going to need some virtual instruments. There's many free VST instruments that you can find online. A lot of them sound good, a lot of them don't. I would suggest invest a little bit of money and pick up something like this, the Synth Master Player. Now it's only $29, but it sounds absolutely phenomenal. It's got incredible sounding synths and patches, and I think it comes with like 1,800 patches. I could be wrong, but for $29 at least it can cover most of your production needs. Now aside from that, I would suggest getting a good VST piano. Surprisingly, there's one that is free, and it sounds great. It was actually sampled from a real piano. It is the Iowa piano, and just check the link below in the description and you can download that for free and try it out. Now that you have that, the last thing that I would recommend is to invest in one good reverb plugin, because reverb is very important when you're producing and mixing. It can take a dull, stale sound and just give it some life, give it space. And a lot of DAWs come with pretty decent sounding reverbs. In this case, since we chose Reaper, I would suggest to get this as a VST, and that would be the Valhalla Room. It's only $50, but it sounds absolutely spectacular. I mean, it can compete with outboard Lexicon FX units. You have full control over pre-delay, the size of the rooms, and I use it quite often on my recordings, and it sounds absolutely great. And for $50, really, it's a good investment. So as you can see, all these things that I suggested will give you really professional results. And that's the thing. A lot of people, they get into the recording business and they want the best of everything. Well, that can be a mistake. You don't need to spend $2,000 on an audio interface. You don't need to spend $5,000 on a microphone. Yes, those things will give you better results, but the difference is so minute that most people really can't tell the difference. So why spend money that you don't have on things like that? So, if you have any questions, leave me a comment below, and be sure to subscribe for more videos. I'm going to be doing a lot of step-by-step mixing tutorials, so hopefully that can help a few people out. Thanks.